I'm Hans Ray, and today I'm going to teach you how to do a bunny hop. The bunny hop can be a very useful technique on a trail ride, and you can do it on any bike, no matter if it's a regular mountain bike, no matter if it's an e-bike, beginners, advanced riders. I will break this technique down in different steps and teach you each individual step, so ultimately you can put all those steps together in sequence and do them in one fluid move. So therefore you kind of have to be able to visualize those moves, and in the process of learning it you have to analyze your riding and see what you might not do right. Just remember, I have taught a monkey how to ride a bike, so hopefully I can teach you a trick as well, and hopefully I can show you a bunch of tips and shortcuts and secrets that took me years to learn, and you can learn them in just a few minutes. Alright, so let's get started. You know, always wear a helmet, wear protection gear, put your saddle down, and the classic bunny hop is basically you lift up your front wheel, and then as soon as your front wheel is in the air, you throw your weight forward and your back wheel comes up, and then you prepare for the landing. The big question I always get asked is, how can you get your bike up, your back wheel up with flat pedals when you're not clipped in? And the trick is, you're not just pulling up your feet, you actually do the opposite. You push your feet first and the whole bike down, and then back and then up, and that way your legs and your body is wedged in the bike and you stay one with the bike. I'm going to show you just a little simple exercise how that works. If you just stand over your bike with your legs on the ground, don't even touch your brakes, leave your forward foot, your strong foot, your chocolate foot on the ground, this is my left foot, and then try to lift up the rear of the bike with your rear foot. And see, this is actually not that easy. You use a muscle that is very strange, but see how my toe points to the ground? And this is kind of the position you have on the bunny hop. You crutch really in your bike, and you have this position like a sprinter in a starting block with your rear foot pushing back, and then you explosively hop up. And suspension makes it more difficult, but you can use it to your advantage if you really compress it and then jump up at the right moment. So remember, down, back, and then up in one dynamic motion. Alright, so let's get started. First I'm going to show you just how to lift up the front wheel, nothing else. The back wheel doesn't matter. So put your seat down. As you approach, you know, you have a line on the ground or some really small little obstacle to learn this. And the timing will be very important. You don't want to pull up your front wheel way before that line. You know, you want actually as little air time as possible, because as more your tires are on the ground, as more control you have and can get ready for the next challenge. Front wheel. Then, so remember, your cranks are horizontal, and you have your favorite foot forward. Going about jogging speed or a little bit, or running speed, you know, as faster you go, as quicker the whole move has to happen, so it gets a bit more tricky at high speed. So let's do this again. Ride along. You stop pedaling. Really lift it up. So the next step is how to get the back wheel off the ground. And that is always the million-dollar question. And using clip pedals can actually help for the bunny hop, but you don't need it. Some of the guys who do the biggest bunny hops, they don't use clip pedals, because if you do the technique right, you don't need to be clipped in. But especially on an e-bike, being clipped in can help, because the e-bike, because of the extra weight, you have to give it extra effort. I almost want to say double the effort, because the bike is so much heavier, you have to compensate for that. So remember, be committed, be explosive. To get the rear wheel up, like I said before, you know, you use your feet, and your back foot does all this work by lifting up the back. So initially just try to roll along on a parking lot, on a place like this, and just try to lift up your back wheel. Don't touch your brakes, you don't need your brakes. You lean slightly forward, crouch down, and lift up your back wheel. And once you've done that, you can practice the timing of it. So you do it over a safe little obstacle. Don't worry about the front wheel at this point. You can run over with the front wheel, but as soon as the back wheel gets there, do your little hop. Roll along, just lift up your, try to get down and under there with your foot and use the compression, you know, push the bike into the ground and then explosively come up and do it. I always tell myself, lift the back wheel to the sky. You can also practice just lifting your front wheel over the snake, and as soon as it lands the back wheel, and try not to touch the snake in between. But this is a really good way to practice your timing. And then when you do the bunny hop, you do this all in one fluid motion. You lift up your front wheel, and as soon as the front wheel is in the air, you throw your weight slightly forward, engage your bike and jump over the obstacle. And very important is the landing too. And in the landing you do exactly the same than in the takeoff. Just like you crouch down in the takeoff, you do the same in the landing, and you really absorb the shock of the landing with your arms and legs. No matter if you have a full suspension bike or not, your arms and legs will always be your best suspension. So try to be really smooth, just like a cat. When a cat jumps off something, it's so quiet and smooth, and that's how you want to be on your bike. It's just like when you jump without a bike, you know, if you just want to jump up with straight legs, you don't get very high, but if you crouch down and explosively push off the ground, you get a lot more height. So you remember, your footwork is super important. You have your cranks horizontal and they stay that way the whole time. You don't pedal anymore. And your rear foot, like I showed you, points down and pushes the bike down, back and up, while your front foot balances everything, and the front foot puts the pressure to press the bike down, and then you can explosively jump up with it and keeps it all in balance. So footwork, super important. So on an e-bike it is basically the same techniques, but I have to warn you, it is a lot harder. You have to give it more effort. And as you could see already, this is a move where you have to be really explosive and committed. You cannot do it halfway. You have to really commit it 100%, do it very energetic. And when things don't quite work out the way they are, then think about it and try to visualize the move and remember what I've said and see which part you do wrong. Maybe even film yourself to look at it and see what looks different than when I do it. And once you master the jump over a rattlesnake, even though it's a fake one, you can go some higher obstacles. And remember, these things, if you don't clear them all the way, it can crash you or damage your bike. So before you go and jump a curb, make sure you can clear that height and practice on a little cardboard box or something. So this is basically the basic bunny hops. Don't get impatient, you know, it takes some time. Really practice it, analyze it, just have fun with it. And next time I show you some other variations like the parallel bunny hop or even the bump jump that actually makes you bunny hop even twice as high. Stay tuned for more episodes of How To's with Hans Ray. If you want personal coaching, you can submit your own short video and I will analyze it for you, give you some personal tips. You can send any kind of questions about any kind of riding technique or any kind of riding situation on your trails.